This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, so it is 10:01 on the dot. We're going to get started. Everyone, welcome. This is our Open Research Office session. My name is Marshall Brooks, and along with my colleague Alexis O'Brien here, we are the two clinical research facilitators for the CTSI in the CRO office. Today is going to be our second Open Research Office regarding REDCap. This one is about your first REDCap project. We did have a previous session last month titled REDCap 101. If you would like to view it, that video is available for viewing on our website. Today's session, before, I just want to go over three quick things. One, we are going to ask that if you have any questions at the end of our session, that it's regarding what Naveed is going over today. Should you have any different REDCap questions, you can feel free to email him those questions after the session and he'll do his best to get back to you. Two, if you would like maybe some more information, REDCap does house some training videos inside the website itself, so you can feel free to go and look there, because I think it's very important that I mention this is not an absolute coverage of REDCap. The system is just too complex for us to possibly cover everything in 2 one-hour sessions, so those videos can also help. And three, should you really have in-depth questions about REDCap, there is a team available to assist you. They just charge at a cost. If you registered before 1 o'clock yesterday, I did include a snippet from the website about that in the email. And with that being said, our presenter is the same as last month, our CTSI IT Business Analyst, Naveed Shah. So Naveed, whenever you're ready, you can begin.
Thank you, Marshall. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. And welcome to the second session of REDCap training. I just want to echo what Marshall mentioned. REDCap is a very comprehensive and powerful tool, and it can be used for many different types of work. Now, obviously, in my role as the IT business analyst at the CTSI, I have a very particular use case for REDCap, and that's what I'm able to show, what I'm able to train you on. Again, if you have questions that are beyond my scope, I will happily still take them and just email them to me, and I'll try to get back to you. I don't think I got back to everyone yet from the last session, so do forgive me on that. I will try my best to get back to you as fast as I can. But any other questions that like Marshall said, there are resources out there for you. There are trainings that they do come at a cost per hour that can help you with more advanced questions that you might have. Now, I hope that those of you who attended the last session and it was perhaps your first time with REDCap, I hope you were able to practice a little bit with REDCap and maybe build out a project of your own. Today, we're going to build out a very simple, just for fun practice project, just to get the hang of things, and so you can have your REDCap project of your own. And it's going to be no slides today. It's going to be completely hands-on. I'm going to share my screen and you can follow along if you want, or you can take notes, completely up to you. And this session is recorded, so you can always go back to it for reference. So today, I wanted to create a use case scenario that I thought of, right, is we want to know if there exists any correlation between having a pet and mental health, okay? And we're going to make the survey and we're going to pretend we're going to send it out to maybe the students at UB, as well as family and friends, right? Now, if this was a real survey, you probably would need REB approval. So for that, obviously, first you would after we create the project, you would send the PDF, which I will show you how to get REB approval first before you submit it to the REDCap governance committee, right? That's really important to know. But this is and we're going to mention it in the project when we create the project. This is just for fun. So the REDCap governance committee, they will know this is just for fun, for practice, for demonstration purposes. So they will approve the project for you. But if this was a real project, obviously, you need to make sure all the legal issues are taken care of and ironed out before you actually put this into production. So if everyone can log on, if you're following along, if you can log on to REDCap, and I'll start sharing my screen. Can everyone see the screen clearly? Okay, just move this stuff out the way. Okay, so if everyone can log on to redcap.buffalo.edu and log into your account, I'll give you about a minute to do so, then, or 30 seconds to do so, then click on new project. Okay, we're going to click on new project. If I'm going too fast or too slow, please let me know. I'm not sure how many people are following along, so I'm going to give about 30 seconds each time I give an action item. So log on to REDCap, click on New Project, and you should see this screen. So let's start with the project title. Let's say I want to call it Pets and Happiness. For reference, I actually have 6 parakeet at home, but you can't hear them right now because they're asleep, and I purposely make sure they're asleep right now, or else all you would hear is just chirping in the background. So now, for the project's purpose, we want to make sure we select practice just for fun, because this would tell the governance committee that this is for practice, right? They're not gonna demand REB approval if they know this is just for practice. And then for project notes, let's say brief survey to learn any possible having pet and overall happiness. I feel like I spelled that wrong. Okay, and we'll start with the empty project, it's a blank slate. And then you click on create project. Oops. So these are, some terms and conditions, guiding principles by REDCap. You can definitely click on this and read them on your own time. And after you do so, you click on agree. Now, one thing to note is any test data will be deleted after every 30 days, right? That's if your project stays in test mode and doesn't go into production. That's just something you should know ahead of time. So I agree. Now here we are, deja vu from session 1, right? This the interface that we had from session 1. Okay, so first thing first that we want to do is enable the surveys, and click on this as well, enable the data collection. So these two have to be enabled. Then what we want to do is go to our designer over here. Again, if I'm going too fast, please let me know. Once you're in the designer, you have to enable your survey. So click on enable. Okay, survey title. So this is the title that the users will see of your survey, and we'll call it Pets and Happiness. Okay. These are our survey instructions. So let's get rid of the default message and write brief survey to study any potential having a pet. Oops. Happiness. Overall happiness. Okay. Please answer the questions below to the best of your ability. Okay, so this will be the description that our users of the survey that they will see before they take the survey. Now here, REDCap gives you the option of adding a logo and even changing up the font and stuff. For now, I'm going to leave everything as default, right? This is stuff you can come back to later and change up according to however you like it to look. We are going to have the questions numbered automatically by REDCap, but again, you could change that up if you want a different numbering scheme. And then we're going to go all the way down, skip all of this, and click on Save Changes. Actually, before I skip all this, I do want to mention one thing. You can actually you can set like a time limit for however long they have to complete the survey. I'm going to leave it blank because it's not an exam, right? And you can also limit the number of responses. So let's say you only want like 50 people to fill out your survey or 100 people to fill out your survey. You can mention that here. But for now, I'm going to leave it open. The more responses I get, the better for my survey. And save changes. Okay, so now the survey is enabled. And now let's go to the survey itself. It's called Form 1. That's the default name that REDCap will give your survey when you create a project. You can change it, but we'll leave it for now. And now we're here in the form, and let's start building it out. So add field. The first thing I want is to collect their email address. And this email address will be an identifier, and this will prevent multiple or duplicate responses from people, right? Because obviously duplicate responses, don't help in research and they don't help in statistics and stuff. So we'll say email address. Email. The variable name will be email. And let's add a validation. The validation is the email validation. What this does is it makes sure that they enter a valid email and they don't enter just random numbers and letters. We'll say it is required, and we will say it is an identifier. Okay. Next, let's ask for their name. So, okay. First name. No validation here. It is required, and it is an identifier. So, yes, sorry, hit save. Next, last name. Oops. No validations, it is required, and it is an identifier. Save. Okay, so now we know the identity of the person. And later on, I'm going to show you how you can make the survey anonymous. So if people sometimes worry about giving away their identity and information, there's a way that we can actually make this completely anonymous, and that I will show you later on. But to do so, it's important that you tell REDCap it is an identifier, and this will come up later on when we try to de-identify the data. There's a way that REDCap, very easy way, that REDCap does that for us. Okay, save. Next field, I want to ask, we'll keep it, yeah, text box is fine. Their age, okay. Validation, it's a number. So we want to make sure that they put a number, basically, right? There's no minimum, maximum, really. Required, yes. Identifier, not necessarily an identifier, to be honest. So I'm going to say no, it's not an identifier. Save. Another field. Now what I want is their zip code. Okay. Validation. Well, I'll put the number validation so they don't enter letters, because that can't be a zip code. And we'll say it's required, and it's still not necessarily an identifier because it's not a full address, right? If I know your zip code, I still don't know exactly where you live. So I'll say it's not an identifier, and we'll save. Okay. Now comes the true and false. Again, if I'm going too fast, too slow, let me know. So, do you have a pet? Already yes, identifier no, and it's a true or false. So yes or no, basically, right? Save. Add field. Next question would be, let's ask them to describe their pet. So describe your pet. I'll say pet description. In fact, I'll give them a paragraph text for this. So, they can really go into detail if they want to, right? The pet's age or memories they have with the pet, whatever it might be. And this is not going to be required, because if someone says no, they don't have a pet, then they can't really answer this question, right? In fact, if yes, describe your. If yes to the previous question, right? Do they have a pet or not? And not required is not an identifier. Save. Add field. Now I'm going to say, let's give it paragraph text, right? Actually, let's say, yeah, we'll give it a paragraph text. in case people want to be more descriptive. Does spending time with your pet elevate? If so, please describe or please explain. Okay. Now I'll call this variable mood. It's not going to be required because for those who don't have a pet, they can't really answer this question. It's not an identifier. Save. Next question. So now I would say give them, actually now what we'll do is we'll give them a sliding scale. Okay, so this is going to be a sliding scale between 0 and 10. So on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the least, and 10 being the most, how happy would you describe yourself? Okay, and we want a horizontal scale. So REDCap automatically did that for me for some reason, but usually it's like, usually the default is right and vertical. We want right and horizontal, okay? And then the minimum value is 0 and the maximum is 10. And we'll say happiness scale. And REDCap actually gives like a kind of like a preview. So you'll know if like you accidentally put vertical instead of horizontal. So this is like mini little, I guess, preview of what the scale looks like. Add field. And last question, I think we should add another scale question between 0 and 10. On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the least and 10 being the most. Do you feel that owning a pet, or if you owned a pet, would add to your overall life satisfaction? Okay. From 0 to 10, horizontal, and this I'll call satisfaction. Okay. Save this. All right. So this is now our survey. Again, it's a test survey, so the questions even are not maybe the highest quality research questions, right? But just so we can get the hang of things, right? Now what we want to do is I want to make sure that there's no duplicates or people don't fill out this form more than once. So now this automatically saves. Let's go back to the project setup. And then we're going to go to the fourth box here that says enable optional modules and customizations. And we want to go down here to the additional customizations button. And the second option here, designate a secondary unique field. We want to click this, right? So what this does is it tells REDCap that whatever field I'm about to choose here, that field needs to be unique, right? If there's a duplicate here, it won't let the user continue the survey. Oops, someone said, are you able to go back, please? Sure, Kayla, where should I go back? To the form? Here. By the way, feel free to use the mic if that's faster.
Yeah, just starting from the form, the last question that you put,
Yes.
I just wanted to see the description again to make sure I had it right.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Thank you.
Okay, now let's go back to the project setup. Additional customizations is the fourth box from the top. And then the second option, designate a secondary unique field. So again, what this tells REDCap is whatever field I choose here has to be unique. Nobody can put the same input twice. I'm going to say email. So this way, now technically someone can just make another email, right? But this is for practice sake. So the email addresses have to be unique, right? Or else it won't let you fill in the survey. In fact, I will demonstrate to you how that works. So select email, make sure this box is checked, and click on save. Okay, now it's saved. Now let's go to survey distribution tools. Okay. Now from this part, you don't have to follow me exactly. I just want to show you how the survey looks. If I click on open public survey, it opens a new tab and here's my survey, right? So I just want to show you as a demonstration purpose what happens if I fill this out twice. So I'll fill it in once. Everyone knows my age and my zip code. And yes, I have pets. I'm going to leave all this for the sake of just showing you how this works. So now it recorded my email address, right? Now, if I try again, there you go. So it tells me, oh, there's a duplicate value. The value entered nshot26@buffalo.edu has already been taken. So this will prevent any duplicate values from being submitted, which would obviously help you in your research. So now let's go back. I see. Okay, sure, Kayla. So Kayla's asking if I can repeat how to do email customization. So we go to the project home. So project home, then this pops up, right? Then you go to project setup. Again, if I'm going too fast, please let me know. Okay, project setup. Then the fourth box from the top, right, where it says enable optional modules and customizations, go over here and the last button here, additional customizations. Click on this. And it is the second option, designate a secondary unique field. By the way, that's my heat in the back. Sorry if you hear like clicking noises. It's not the birds, they're still not awake yet. Designate a secondary unique field. Make sure this is checked off. And make sure it's you selected email or email address. Okay. Then you want to click save. Okay, is everyone good? If I'm going to take 30 seconds. If there's any questions or anything that you want me to repeat, please put in the chat or unmute yourself. I'll give it about 30 seconds and then we'll move on to publishing. Okay, so someone asked if I could repeat the duplicate form again. Sure. So, so the duplicate form, I'm assuming you mean the customizations here. So again, on project setup, right? This page over here. How to make a correction or a change. Okay, so here's what I do. So I'll run through this again, and then I'll show you like what a duplicate, have to be selected. Okay, makes sense. So, okay, so I'll run through this again, and then I'll show you like the duplicate message again, right? And we'll take it from there. So again, the fourth option here, enable optional modules and customizations, right? The fourth box from the top on project setup, click on additional customizations. Then the second option here, it's going to be unchecked by default, right? Second option here, designate a secondary unique field. And then we want to designate the email address in our case. And then just hit save. Okay. Now, the demonstration I showed, right? And okay, if you want to follow along here, you definitely can. So you go to survey distribution tools, right? And this is basically the link to your project. It's not in production yet. These are like, you're still in draft mode, it's called. So these are like test links, right? For you to see your project and to test it out a little bit, right? So you click here, open public survey. It opens a new tab, right? Now, what I did is I filled this out with my email already. So it recorded my email and my response, right? So if I try again with my email, right? It says duplicate value, right? And what this is telling me is that, oh, nshot26 at buffalo.edu has already been taken, right? You've already filled out this form with this email. So please enter another value. And you have to change this before you proceed. Now, let's say in the case of I have another email and I want to fill out the form again for maybe a different pet or different reasons, right? Then to change that, you just change the email and you know what? I'll put my okay. So there we go. Now the red is gone, right? And then I can fill this in. My browser remembered all my entries. True. And now us, you know what? I'll fill this out. I own 6 parakeets. Parakeets. They are very, very loud. Cuteness. Okay. Does spending time with your pet elevate your mood? Yes. Sometimes they loud and annoying, but usually they are very playful. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10 being the least, 0 being the least, 10 being the most, how happy would you describe yourself? I would say, oh, okay, for some reason the number is not showing here. And actually, I know why the number is not showing. We'll fix that in a second. So the number here should be showing. There was an option I think I forgot to check off, and we'll go back and fix that. Scale 1 to 10, being 0 being the least, 10 being the most. How do you feel that? Do you feel that owning a pet would add to your overall life satisfaction? I say yes. I agree with it. And this would be a 10. Now I'm going to submit this. Okay, close the survey. Now let's go back to our designer because we found a mistake. Designer, form 1. So the mistake was you didn't see the numbers on the sliding scale, right? That means we forgot to, by the way, this was not scripted. This is totally original. Right here. So this over here, display number value, I forgot to check it off, right? This would display the, the 0 to 10 on the sliding scale. And then I'm going to check this off and click on save. It doesn't show it here, but on the actual survey it will. And then down here as well, this was also a sliding scale. And I forgot to check off display number value. Save. Okay, now this is saved. Just for the sake of it, I would like to check if it worked or not. So I'm going to open the survey again. And there you go. Okay, now it shows the number over here. Perfect. Okay. Now, I want to show you how to de-identify the data. So right now, I had filled out the survey twice, right? And both times I used my 2 different emails, my work email and my personal email, okay? Now, what I want to do is we go to data exports. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm going way too fast, right? So we want to go back to our homepage and then you go down to applications, right? This over here. And then you select on data exports, reports, and statistics, right over here. Now, what we want to do is we can view the report. Oops, I think I made a mistake here. Let's go back to project home, project setup. Okay, I think we need to, what I wanted to show you is you can download the results and de-identify them. I have a feeling that unfortunately that can only be done in production mode, which I am not sure why. I'm going to enable all, no, that does not make any sense. Optimization. Let me try that one more time. I'm sorry about this, folks. There is usually a download button here. And then from there, I can actually show you how to de-identify. In fact, let me open up a different project really quick. I'm just going to quickly stop sharing my screen so you don't see the, the confidential projects I'm working on, and show you what that looks like. I was not aware that that only works in production mode, or something perhaps was not enabled. So just give me 1 second. My apologies. Go here. Okay, let's get back here. Okay. So this is actually the test project we used for the first REDCap session, but I put it in production already. So as you can see, production. So what I wanted to show you is when you go to export data, right over here, let's backtrack. So we went to project home, and then we went to data exports, reports, and statistics. This is when your project is in production. This is where you go to get the data, right, that you collected from your users. So you click here. And then over here in all data, you click on export data. Okay, this blue button over here. Now, in the middle of all these words, right, you see here it says known identifiers. Well, you would click on remove all identifier fields. So this, in our case, would remove the email, the first name, and the last name, right? So this is the way you can keep the responses confidential, and you can tell your users that all your responses are confidential. And even though they're putting in their first name, last name, email, right? But for confidentiality for purposes, you can remove all the identifiers with this simple little tool over here. And then you select CSV, and then you can export the data, okay, in production mode. If you need me to repeat this one more time, feel free to tell me in the chat. I know that got a little messy really quick. I'll give it a few seconds. And if we're good to go, we'll publish our project. Okay, let's go back to our pets and happiness project. Okay, so now what we want to do, we are now going to submit the project for production. And first of all, we're going to say I'm done here. So go to project setup, say I'm done for the main project settings, and then say I'm done for design your data collection instruments. And then here, I'm done as well. Here, I'm done as well. I'm done. I'm done. And I'm done. Okay, next is we want to go to, I believe it was modify project title, purpose. Oh, it was not. Sorry about that. Right here, I'm sorry about that. So on the second option, right, design your data collection instruments, talk about REDCap being so much that no matter how many times you do this, like there's always like that little slip up, like, oh, where was this located? Okay, so on the second option here, right, you see where it says download PDF for all instruments. You need to download this first before you can submit it for production. So click on that, and it's going to download it for you. I'm not sure if you can see my downloads, but it should download in PDF format. Also, remember this number here. You might want to write it down. So the PID or project ID, you're gonna be asked for that. So make sure you know that. Write it down on a notepad or something. In my case, it's 1002. And then scroll all the way down and click on this, move project to production. Okay, I agree. Again, there's more, guidance here that you can read on your own time. And again, I want to stress this fact, if this was a real production project, the PDF that we just downloaded, right? Let me go back to it. The PDF that we just downloaded, you would have to submit that for IRB approval before this step we're about to do. So you want to make sure that in a real production environment, in a real survey, that you have the IRB approval needed and all the legal things ironed out before you submit your project for approval, or else it will not get approved, or issues and complications will come up. So just a note that I thought I should repeat. So move project to production, say I agree. I'm going to delete all the, you won't have any data right now, but I'm going to delete the 2 submissions that I made with my work email, my personal email. Then request admin to move to production status. Click yes. Then this form is going to pop up, okay? And here you want to fill this out. So I'll fill out live for demonstration purposes. First name, last name, UB status, I'm a staff, UB email, my UB email. Purpose of the project. In our case, it's other. Because we're not doing operational support. This is not real. We're not really going to do research with this. It's not quality improvement. It's just practice. And specify other. We're going to say practice demonstration. Okay. What is the project title? What was it? Pets and happiness, right? PID is 1002, right? That was the number on the top, right over here. Okay, so we have a question in the chat. Can you use this for quality improvement without an IRB approval? From my knowledge, if you're conducting any type of research or human subjects, you do need IRB approval, or if you're collecting sensitive information or identifying information, you do need IRB approval. So that's the caveat that I know of. But again, I would say reach out to the REDCap help email and ask them about your specific case. Just so you know, it's better to be on the safer side. Okay, going back to this. Are you a principal investor? I think I heard someone.
Sorry, I was just saying thank you for answering the question.
Okay, no problem. Are you the principal investigator? Well, again, we're not really investigators here. This is a demo project, right? Principal investigator name, NA, not available. IRB approval, NA. Right, this is not a real project with IRB approval, so it's going to be NA for these 2. Now, here it says, please upload a PDF of the project you're requesting to move to production. This is the PDF that we just downloaded from right over here, right? Remember that? So that's what you have to upload over here. So I'm going to go ahead, choose file, pets and happiness. Okay, upload file. Okay, now, whoa, what just happened? Can you all still see my screen?
I see your
Yes.
screen and with downloads showing as well.
Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, you can see the screen now with REDCap, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, sorry about that. So if this was a real production project with IRB approval, you would obviously upload your IRB approval document here and add the signature as well. Then you click on submit. I'm going to say okay. And there we have it. So now I submitted my project, or for those following along, we submitted our project for production approval. And now the REDCap governance team, they will look through our PDF and they will just, make sure there's no problems, there's no legal issues, no RAB issues, right? And they will approve the project. And then once that's approved, this over here versus project status will say production instead of development. And then to send, if you want to send this out to, friends and family or, our coworkers, you click on survey distribution tools. And this is the link. This would be the link over here, or right here, you can click on this, copy to your clipboard, and you can send this out to others. And I mean, the REDCap governance team, they're pretty quick usually, to be honest, to approve projects, unless it's a very complicated project. So if you did this, you should probably expect a response within 48 hours very easily. And then you can send this out to others. So that's about it for this quick project that we created. I hope that if this was your first time, I hope that this made it a lot less maybe intimidating and a lot easier to navigate. And once your project is approved, take the link, send it to family and friends. Hey, this is my first REDCap project, right? And I hope this is beneficial. Again, any questions not related to what we covered today, feel free to email me. My email is in the chat. I'll try to get back to you. And any more advanced training, like Marshall mentioned in the beginning, there are resources available, but they are at a cost. And I hope everyone enjoyed today's session. Thank you so much for your attention, and hope you had fun.
Thank you, Naveed. Does anyone have any questions relating to everything Naveed just went over, specifically about entering a project?
So the participant list is not available for practice?
No, it is
Oh,
available.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, no, the participant list is available. Let me share my screen again. Let's go to it. Why not? Okay, so participant list. Now here I deleted the 2 responses that I had, right? So that's why it's not there, right? But this is to give a little overview. The participant list is once your project is ready and it's in production, you can add if you already know the users that you want to send this out to and you know their email addresses, right? You can add them here. So I'll add myself again. .edu, and then I'll add my personal as well. Now they were added, right? So I'm added over here, and you can tell if they responded or not. Now, the only thing is if you want your survey to be anonymous, you can't do this because you will know, if they responded or not. And then you can compose survey invitations. So now, you know what? I'll invite myself to complete the survey that I created. So over here, you see the 2 emails, right? And then let's send an invitation. Please fill out my survey. Hi, Naveed. Please fill out my brief survey regarding pets and happiness. Thank you. Okay. And then you can select the emails that you want, right? And you can actually time this. So you can tell REDCap, I'll send that at a specific time. I'll say immediately for right now, and then send invitations. And then basically it would send those invitations to the 2 emails. So that's how the participant list works. Again, that's if you already know maybe ahead of time the email addresses, or maybe you're serving a specific department or something, right? And you know the emails ahead of time. It's a neat tool to send individual emails to make it more personalized. That's a tool that is available.
Private survey URLs. Naveed, you got a quick pointer to that?
Sorry.
Private survey URLs. Is there, you got a quick pointer to that? Private surveys.
Sorry, can you expand on that?
If you had a private survey for someone,
Yes.
yeah,
Oh, so like you created a survey and it's
yeah,
only
yeah. So you got like a unique URL. So it'd be
okay,
like-
I see what you're saying. So you
Right.
go to survey distribution tools over
Yeah.
here,
Mhm.
and you can create like a custom survey link.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then you can submit it, right? And obviously REDCap will have to approve it first, right? And if once it's approved, you can send that link as a private link to someone.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Great job, man.
No, Naveed, I just have a quick question about the sending that survey. So in your draft email there, it said survey link. So that will just like paste in automatically the survey link. to-
Yes.
Okay. And
Precisely.
will each of those survey links that you receive at those email addresses be customized? Like, will they kind of be the identifier type links?
That's a very good question. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Well,
Because
you'll have two surveys that just came to your email, so I guess you can check them against.
yeah, let me
each
check
other
that.
at
Let me
some
just
point.
stop sharing for 1 second. Because the public link that you just saw on the screen, that is different from the link that's sent out. And I think the link that is sent out in emails might be an identifying. I think you're right. It seems like it. Okay, let me show this. Okay, so the public link, right? I think Alexis, you're correct, because the public link is S equals RHP, so on, right? And this is S equals B4G, so on and so on. This is the link that came to my work email. So I think, yes, you're correct. The public link is separate from the link that opens up in the email. And the link that opens in the email perhaps is individualized. And that's perhaps how REDCap keeps track.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions? I just want to make sure everyone knows the 3 things we went over at the beginning. If you have any questions regarding this first REDCap project, or if you go back and watch that first REDCap 101 session, you can feel free to email Naveed. 2, right inside REDCap at the top of the screen, there is the training modules that have a bunch of different videos on different subjects regarding REDCap. You can watch those. Or 3, if you really feel like you need an in-depth answer to your question, you can send an email to that REDCap help team. Just remember, it will be at a cost to you.
Sorry, I have one question. So IRB approval is required for every single project, including, QI project. Those probably sometimes people do that without IRB approval.
You know what, QI, because QI projects don't have to be IRB approved. I'll check with the IRB about as far as using REDCap for that, and I'll let Naveed know so that he can share the information, but I'll also get back to you specifically. And I know that someone else asked the question in chat, so I'll get back to both of you individually, and
Okay.
we'll probably put some a little bit of question and answer stuff in the bottom of the description of the video when it's posted as well.
Okay, thank you.
I just had a quick question about sending the email invitations. So you would go to survey distribution tools, then participant list, and then compose survey invitations, but how do you enter someone's like email? Like if it's like, let's say it's like a friend or something, like where do I put their email address?
You would click right here, add participants.
Okay, so I
And then-
click add participants and not.
Yeah. And then you can put their emails here.
Okay, so I have to add them and then go to compose.
Yes.
Okay,
And then they'll appear in the participant list.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? There's one in the chat, Naveed. Oh, do we need any license purchase for using REDCap? Right on the REDCap site, it does say that it's free for all UB personnel to use. So you just have to go in and set up an account. So it is free to use. Okay, so I'm going to take that as there
Sorry,
are.
I just had one quick thing. I'm sorry.
You're okay.
So you mentioned before that it has to be, the PDF has to be IRB approved before it goes into production, and then the REDCap team will like approve it or not. But we put this through production, we submitted it without it being IRB approved. So will it get approved by REDCap or?
Because we mentioned in the beginning that this is practice or
Oh,
slot.
right.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they'll know. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, I don't want to cut anyone off if they have questions. Okay, I'm going to take it as that everyone has asked their questions. So thank you everyone for attending, and thank you Naveed for presenting. Hope you all have a good day.
Bye everyone. Take care.